Back to retail. Amazon Prime Day is underway. Have you been loading things into your basket? What's the strength of the consumer now? Will this all be a great success? Let's have a discussion. Our next guest, Jharonne Martis, Director of Consumer Research at LSEG, I think you call it, right?
Yes.
How are you feeling about Amazon Prime Day? Again, it's always a record. It's always up year over year. What are we thinking about Amazon Prime Day?
Well, the event is more about the scale, about reaching new shoppers. But when we look at the LSEG data, definitely online revenue is expected to grow 5% for the quarter that includes Prime Week. Now, it's interesting because investors are not betting against the company. On the flip side, we see that the buy side finds the stock very attractive, and this is mainly because it has positive price momentum, the stock is trading at high values, and it's very profitable. So as a result, what we're seeing at LSEG is that analysts are raising their earnings estimates for Amazon, and therefore the company is likely to beat earnings estimates and post a positive surprise for every quarter this year.
Is Amazon the best? I mean, everybody loves Amazon. I mean, I know they said Walmart could be the one competitor to Amazon, but people love how Amazon has so many choices and you get it same day or next day. People have become so very spoiled, and that sort of brings a nice moat for Amazon.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that because we're seeing more players enter the Prime Week event, like Shein and Temu, and this is because they're also seeing the benefit of entering the competition. Now, it's important to note, to your point, the Amazon consumer is more sophisticated. They are all about instant gratification, and they want the product. They're willing and able to pay for higher product to get it delivered within 24 hours. And whereas, the opposite, which is the Shein or Walmart customer,
right,
they are looking more for value. Now, make no mistake, in terms of year-over-year growth, Walmart is expected to see a 15% online growth, which is much stronger than Amazon's 5%. And this is mainly because the consumer is all about looking for a value and a discount right now. If there's one thing most retailers could agree on the last earnings season, is that the consumer is only opening up their wallets if they feel that there's a promotional event or discount event. They're waiting for those promotions,
right,
because they're already dealing with higher prices.
Look, there are some people who will not pay full price for stuff.
Right.
Right? I think there was one of the maybe it was Drew Barrymore, one of the famous talk show hosts said, I refuse to pay full price for anything.
Likewise.
And so, there's that. At the same time, advertising. I had some conversations pertaining to advertising, and this is huge, and there's a lot of advertising revenue for Amazon. What I didn't realize is that some of those sponsored sites that, if I'm looking, I used the popcorn maker as an example, looking for a popcorn maker, and then they have like Amazon's recommendation, but then there's 10 other popcorn makers. Turns out these companies can spend money and have advertising rates and get a better position. I didn't realize that, but Amazon makes a lot of money on that.
Yeah, not only that, but the reason why it's so valuable for them to gain more and more new customers is because they can introduce those new products, right? Amazon knows you better than your best friend. They know what you like, what you're looking for, what you need. So the capability of being able to, the power of suggestion, being able to pop those items that they know that you might like, because they have those perfect advertisements pop up in at the right time to entice you to open up your wallet.
We saw in the retail sales numbers, restaurants were higher, online sales were higher, clothes and accessories higher, garden supplies. People are going in there doing their gardening and building materials. What does this mean for the consumer in all the stores you follow? Are there clear winners to you, and why?
So no matter how the economy is doing, back to school happens every year and parents are budgeted for it. Now, the consumer is all about value, so value wins. In terms of sectors, the discounters off-price are expected to do very well. In terms of individual names, Walmart is the one-stop shop. If you want the biggest discounts in back to school, that would be Target. They're offering more merchandise on sale and the highest amount of discounts. Now, in terms of who's likely to beat earnings, our StarMine data points at Amazon and The Gap. The Gap currently has an earnings estimate of 41 cents, but there's a highly rated analyst that believes believes that it could be as high as 60 cents for the quarter. This is because its Old Navy division is doing very well during the back to school season. And also, let's not forget, there's been a lot of sporting events.
Right.
The Olympics is coming up. So what we're finding in a collaboration with Centric Market Intelligence is that the consumers are searching more and more for items like Adidas Sambas, Nike shoes, On Cloud shoes, and other athletic wear, just in time as we make that transition into the Olympics. So companies like Athleta will benefit to some extent, and other companies that sell athleisure.
Yeah, and there's always ties to everything. You and I were talking about Barbie everything, and then I went into Bloomingdale's and there was a whole pink section. And now there is an Olympics section. I saw it last night. And of course, I always want everything in it, but didn't get anything. So that being said, when you think about inflation, we're still in an inflationary environment. Credit card debt's still high. Those credit card rates are still high.
Yes.
So what does that mean? Are people going to use buy now, pay later? Are they just going to use promotions? What is the inflationary environment? How does that impact the consumer?
So even though we had a very strong June retail sales report today, it's important to note that the projections for the second quarter earnings growth for retail and restaurants is still in the single digits. It can go up, it could be revised up, but it will still be in the high single digits. And this is definitely a slowdown from what we've seen over the past 2 years. The consumer is engaged, but they're being much more pickier. They're going to be using all of those tricks that you just mentioned, from discounts to buy later, because they want to save a penny, and that's very evident.
Yeah, even the luxury ones I saw with Burberry, the most, those are the luxury shoppers, right? A few thousand is nothing, and so they even saw a little bit of a slowdown. Jharonne Martis, Director of Consumer Research at LSEG, thank you for joining us. Glad you're here.